Hello and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcasts, bigger than we've ever been. And yes, we are awesome. I'm here with Meelz. Of course, it's Justin. What's up, Meelz?
I'm tired. Well, I'm recovering from massive tiredness. Yes.
It's like Tuesday. You should be good now.
Says who? Says who?
You were all over the world. We're gonna get into what you did over the weekend, but you were all over the place,
Absolutely.
haunting me from 2,000 miles away.
Oh yeah, that was fun. What is up with you? All right. Well, first of all, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. As your Thanksgiving Eve, Thanksgiving thing. It's the day before Thanksgiving at this point. What are your plans for Thanksgiving?
This will actually be the first time I have Thanksgiving with my fiance's family, because first year we weren't able to because she was working. Last year, obviously, we were in the throes of a pandemic. We were still in it, but we were in like really kind of like the toughest point, right? Like that was like the lowest was last holiday season. And this year we're gonna do it to it. So me and her mom are having like a cook off kind of type thing.
You're challenging someone's mom to a cook-off? What is wrong with you on
It's
Thanksgiving?
a light, slight one though. She can probably cook me under the table. I'm not even
I'm
gonna.
sure. I'm sure there's years and wealth of experience and probably like spices and shit that you've never even heard of and all types of other extra shit. You know what? But what are you making? What are you making? What are you bringing to the table?
Well, we split the menu, so I'm gonna make the
As you
ham.
should. I think honestly though, if you're going to someone's house for Thanksgiving this year, you need to bring something
Mhm.
because the prices for food now is so ridiculous at this point that we all just need to chip in and do our part because this is insane. Like the stuff that I've had to buy in the supermarket, I'm like, yo, when did this start? This is real adult problems. This is real like 30+ year old problems maybe. When I was like, how much did this when did when did milk start costing this much? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, I haven't noticed like too big of a jump, mostly in just meat. I
Yeah, it
thought
really meats.
I bought a ham. It was the same price I bought it for it last year. I didn't see turkey prices because I'm not cooking one this year. So I'm gonna make ham. My mom's stuffing. My aunt actually, one of my great aunts actually passed away this year. So
Oh.
I'm gonna make her yams this year. I'm gonna make her yam recipe in her honor.
Do they
Um,
leave recipes or you just like kind of know it?
bro, my mom, it's so funny how it's passed down, right? Because it's written on a piece of paper.
That's
And,
crazy.
and so it's like if there's one thing that ain't never gonna go away unless you like rip it or lose it, like that piece of paper ain't never gonna go away. Like that's gonna get passed down. And what's beautiful about me loving to cook now and me, passing these things down is that I'm gonna pass that down too. And I'm not gonna let that die. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I already used my mom's ham recipe that she got from someone else. I used the stuffing recipe that's got passed down 3 times, since then, and now this yam recipe and whatever else. Like when I'm not like I hate eating, like, this is like full disclosure. Like I hate eating greens because it just make me feel shitty, literally and figuratively after I eat them.
Like
So
collard greens?
I don't make them.
Uh,
They make me
Yeah,
feel like really shitty.
I don't know if Caribbean people like me eat collard greens. I don't think we definitely don't.
Yeah, I can't fuck with it. So like, um, but like if I were to do that, it would pass down. Like if I want my children to have it, one time, I'll pass that down. So it's a lot of passed down stuff, and then I get to see on the other end my fiance's family how they pass their meals down. They're Latino, Filipino, like so. Like I get to see all of that stuff. So it's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited to go there.
Okay, turn that up. All right, I like that. Um, yeah, for Thanksgiving, we're pretty much doing the same thing we do every year. It's just my mom cooks and I
Chicken,
eat.
the chicken.
No, I'm not. I'm not cooking the chicken this year. Probably next year, to be honest with you, because my mom's moving, so this is the last year she's probably going to be doing Thanksgiving like thing unless she comes back. Um, so yeah, I will have to at least learn how to cook at some point over the next 365 days. And I feel like I know how to cook. I just am too lazy to.
You could probably cook. You could cook up a storm. I know it.
I feel it. I feel it in my body. I feel it like I'm good with like portions and like amounts and stuff like that and taste and all the chemistry and all the other shit that goes into it. So, who knows? Um but yeah, I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for everyone who listens to the show. I'm thankful for everyone who yeah, has just supported us. Like, this is one of our best years ever. So it's just amazing to kind of go through this. And I hope that you're listening to this and your house is warm because the oven is on and you're in like, some cozy, not like work or something on the freeway because that Thanksgiving traffic gonna be ass. But you know, be somewhere where you can enjoy yourself and also enjoy us as we talk to you about a whole bunch of bullshit that happened throughout the week.
Yeah. Yeah, a whole bunch of bullshit. No, I mean, honestly, really, like we really are thankful for you guys. It really is a honor to take up an hour of your day every week. Like we know that time is, after this past 2 years, time is of the essence. And allowing myself and Meelz to and Cyrus and Quan and Armand and the crew, Chan, all of them, to just to be able to to fill you guys ears with content every week is really a blessing. I'm blessed to be able to do it. I'm blessed to be able to talk to Meelz every week. So like, I'm extra grateful and humbled this year more than any, because everything is just, especially just for us, is just moved so smoothly this year. So I couldn't have asked for a better year for the A show. Like just the way we've expanded, and that's thankful, and that's thanks to you guys. Like that's all y'all. So thank you guys. All right, let's get into no holds barred. I want to call a lot of this in the ring this week. It's chill. We off work. It's Thanksgiving break. It's the
I'm not
holidays.
off work. I'm just off. I took a sick day, but yeah, I'm not like
Oh
technically.
God.
Took a sick day, but I took it on purpose. I went to I hadn't gone to the doctor in such a long time. Like I had a bad experience with the doctor like a number of years ago, so I just never went. And I've just been like, all right, I'm just gonna eat healthy and stay healthy and be active and run all the time, and that has been working out. And then I went to the doctor today for the first time, got mad shots that I needed, got mad blood work that I needed. The thing, um, whilst the sidebar story, um, so after I got my like tetanus and stuff like that, they were like, "Oh, go downstairs, see if you could get some blood work done. We usually have to make an appointment, but no one's really here today." So I went to get my blood work done, and then they said, "Oh, also ask me for a urine sample."
Oh no.
There is nothing more embarrassing than not being able to pee and watching every old person knock it out. I was there for like 40 minutes drinking water, trying to pee, and I couldn't do it.
This this to me sounds as though uh like you have pee shyness.
No,
Like I
no, no. I peed before I left the house. I did not know I was getting blood work done or would need to get a urine test. I didn't know that at all. So anyway, I think I found like a button like under my stomach, but before my pelvis that will just
what?
uh, don't worry about it. Just medical experts. Let me know. Let me know what that part of the body is.
Jesus Christ. That sounds dangerous. That's what that fucking sounds like.
I got it done. Got it done. Handed that nice warm cup to her and said, "I'll
All
see
right.
you later."
That is not what we expected to be talking about today. Let's get into no holds barred. At the top, last week we had some more releases.
They always wait for the show to be out. And then it was like, you know what? It's Wednesday.
Let's
Let's
ruin
release
their
some
lives.
niggas.
Yeah, let's release some niggas.
Let's break Twitter.
I'm bored. It's too much AEW talk. Bring it back to us. We want to be the bad guys still. Let's do it. So
Let's do it.
how do we where do we start with these releases? I mean, I think there's really like one big release and the rest are kind of like what
We
ifs.
can let's run through them. Let's
Yeah.
give a little brief post mortem, and then we'll run through the big one, which everyone has been talking about, which people have been harassing me about.
What
How
John
about
Morrison?
Yeah. Well, let's start with John Morrison. John Morrison didn't see that coming
Yeah,
at
yes, you
all.
did. Yeah, you did.
Nah, I thought they were waiting for Miz to come back. I legit thought like Miz is like 1 week away. Miz is done with Dancing with the Stars as of yesterday, and I do not know how he feels about his best friend being released as they were about to embark on a program once again.
You think that's what
Um,
they was about to do with John Morrison being the Zen guy? You think they was gonna be on the same show? Come on.
yeah, they are on the same show. They're both on Raw.
Well, Miz wasn't moved.
No, he wasn't moved. He's still on Raw.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is fucking weird. But it never happened, and you know, I think the maddest person about it was his wife, who was also like, "You can't fire the." I hate how this company treats people, and I'm like, "Damn, all right, yeah,
You didn't say that
yeah."
when B Fab got released. You didn't say that when anyone else got released, but just your husband. No, okay,
I
he'll be
mean,
okay. John Morrison will be fine. He'll go back to AAA.
he could
Probably.
do whatever. To be
I
honest
can't
with
see
you,
him in AEW, but if he was, whatever. I really can't. Like honestly, not even like I really can't see him in AEW. I can't.
I mean, Billy Gunn just had a match on AEW television and kicked out of Darby Allin's finisher at 1, so anything can happen.
Nice.
Um, let's talk about heartbreaking one to some. Tegan Knox.
Yeah. That was the one for me. That was the one where I was like, that one sucked. But with Tegan, it wasn't an issue of if, it was an issue of when. And she'd been hurt a lot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't think that she had connected more than like shots he had in that short amount of time. But again, it was like she never got a real chance to do so either.
Yeah,
So,
I
you
was
know,
surprised she was called up when she was called up. I
yeah,
mean, I would. They could have called her up. She certainly has the ability, but I don't think um she's developed as a character at any point on any television show.
well, 'cause she was always hurt. So
Yeah,
like that was that's the gift and the curse. That's the bittersweet part about it, is that you can say all you want about, you know what I mean, like how they treated her being hurt. That's just the thing. She was just snake bit. You know, I look at it the same way as really Kenta, where it was like there was never really a chance to do much of anything with him because he was always hurt.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what sucked about it. And so like that one hurt me. But I had seen, like, it was eerie that she hadn't even debuted on Raw yet, and everyone had. Every single person had debuted on Raw except her. In the
Even
in
Xia Li got her little comic book
exactly.
Chinese family thing. So yeah, I mean the writing was certainly on the wall. Speaking about deja vu, Drake Maverick released once again,
Hey
brought back
man,
from the dead,
they
released once
saved him.
again.
They saved him, and he couldn't get saved no more. He he got an extra man, and then they.
Sounds like Big T on the challenge. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. That's the perfect analogy. Um, I mean, I think that honestly, what more was there really for him to do? Like main roster, there was nothing for him to do except chase Reggie. NXT, there's definitely nothing for him there. Just
I
with
think,
there.
yeah, I think he's talented. And don't get me wrong, everyone here is talented. I think even everyone who was released this year is talented. Um, and sometimes people kind of overreact as if the talent should get you by, but realistically in this world and in this country and this business, if it was talent that get you by, Cesaro would be WWE champion. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like it's realistically, it's not always that. And it's, I mean, people get very caught up in their feelings and get all their, things in a bunch regarding like, oh, this person was talented, this person was passed over. And realistically, it's the company's direction and kind of where they want to go with things, which ultimately decides who they want to keep and who they let go.
Yeah.
Um, so stuff like that, like Drake Maverick. I mean, no one was really making any kind of a stink about Shane Thorne, to be honest with you.
Never
Um,
debuted. Never ever had a debut on TV. You know, he had been with the company. I do see, and I did see that he was trying. He was trying real hard, and I commend that because when it's not working, you got to keep trying. Look at Nikki Ash, but it just
Right.
wasn't connecting. Like I think he did a couple dark matches when they came back with fans, and he never debuted on TV. But he was drafted though, so
Do you think he'll ever reunite with his tag team partner that left like 3 years ago?
I think he actually doesn't even wrestle anymore.
Wow.
Hold on,
What an asshole.
let me check. Let me check because he just went home.
Yeah, he
Uh,
was just like, I don't want to do this no more.
he's
He
in New
might
Japan.
not.
He's in New Japan.
Oh, okay. So they can reunite. They could do a little ting, Good for
Yeah,
them.
but yeah.
Get the
It's
money.
it's just terrible. Like that. Um, it's just really terrible that you know they never got to get far as TM61. The injuries hindered them, and then his partner left because I believe he said he wanted to be in Australia. He wanted to spend more time with his family, so he actually just wanted to go home.
Yeah.
And I what are you gonna do? There's not much you
Yeah.
can do there. But he
Do
does. I
you?
think it looks like he does like he does stuff on and off again overseas. So he's still wrestling.
All right. Maybe they do something. Jackson Riker, which should have been a much bigger deal, was not a big deal in this one. I can't wait to see what the hell he comes up with and what he's saying and about this release or something along those lines.
He
But
better be
no, I don't think.
better be thanking God that he actually got to stay that long after his boys got let go. Real shit.
Listen, they should jump him now.
They really should. They absolutely really should, yo.
He got like 18 more months of pay out of this, and they were released like early last year,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
maybe early. Was it early this year or early last year?
To me, that was the big win of this pool. Is getting him the fuck out of here.
Right, you're right. You're right. Take us with. All right, so what's the big one? The big one.
The big one, it seems to be you talked about people being in their feelings. No one person or no one thing put people in their feelings more than Isaiah Swerve Scott, Top Dollar, and Ashante, the Adonis being released. That's right. In the span of 2 weeks, all of Hit Row have all been released from the WWE. Um, we can speculate a lot, and I think that we've speculated a lot. I'll tell you one thing: when you show me that text, because I was like cooking that night or something. I wasn't even on Twitter that night. When you show me that, I saw Tegan, I saw Red, I saw these three, and I said, I get it. And I don't know if that's like wrong to say, but I was like, I get it.
I think I'm so. Part of me is also not like desensitized because it did like these releases did hurt a little bit because I hate seeing people lose their jobs, and I hate that this is still continuing and that it could be seemingly like a fear backstage of like, wow, I could just lose my job. Like if these people are losing their jobs, like who else could it be? Um, but with Hit Row, I think I talked about it. We were teasing a conversation about them last week. Um, I think there are like several different things that could have led to this release. And yeah, they are a talented bunch. And once again, I will say, um, if it was just about being talented, there would be a lot more people in the WWE right now. There would have been a lot less releases if it was just about being a very talented wrestler.
Yeah, I mean,
He's an amazing. Go ahead.
there's a lot of people that are talented on that roster. We watch them every single week. Everyone and like they have a wealth of talent on that roster. It's about how they use them. Um, and I think with Hit Row, and I think you were kind of alluding to it, there might have been a lot of things that led to this happening, and I don't think it's on any one person, but I think it is really on one person. Like I really, I've been saying it. We've been saying it kind of like outside of it. It is kind of wild that Top Dollar was so openly vocal about literally everything as soon as they got called up. He was doing a lot
He
in the
was doing
past.
a lot. He was like this is my thing. Like people always get at us for like defending your company and all this other stuff. Like you shouldn't defend the company, you defend the wrestlers. And again, then for NXT North American champions not here anymore. Yeah, man. People get about us for that. But this man was a strong proponent of the job that he had.
Yeah.
over to insulting people from AEW, writing bars about them, um, all these other things like that. He was just incredibly. I felt like, to me, the first day when he got called up, and I guess the Twitter activity started calling up, I was like, he is doing a lot.
He said, "This is for all the people who said we were never over. We're more over than half the people in that locker room."
You just got here. Like
Yeah,
both on NXT and on the main roster.
and my thing is, this is like that energy wasn't Swerve and Ashante and B-Fab. They weren't saying these things. They were actually kind of chilling. And I felt like the Young Bucks thing was like, okay, dude, you said something really weird, but that's cool. The Jinder Mahal Punjabi MC diss with the curry beef, I think that might have been a problem. I really do.
Mm.
I think he had been ruffling feathers for a minute. And here's the thing, I'm a proponent of ruffling feathers, my guys. I'm a proponent of it. But you know where you at. You know how to do it in a professional way. I shake shit up all the time. But there's shaking shit up and then there's shaking shit up with other companies. Like I can't go on and be like, man, this company fucking sucks. They put out some shit that I don't fuck with. You can't really do that, especially when you're looking at a company that is publicly traded and is trying to kind of not clean up their image, but clean up their portfolio for investors and for people they do partnerships with.
And I also think, just even as a person itself, you're incredibly limiting yourself. Like, there's other opportunities out there. Like, for instance, like AEW. I don't know if he'll ever make it to AEW. He said in his little bars about his release that he would be open to going to that place, or maybe he was just talking shit. I don't know. Rappers lie a lot. Um,
Why would he?
Rappers are actors.
He's not even really that good. Can we just be honest? Like I could see them. I see they wanted to make him into something. That's why they started making him the singles guy. But the talent in that group was Swerve, and I
Right.
and I think that if Swerve was lumped into this, that is so tragic. And I think that's the worst part about this release is that if he was lumped in with that, that sucks. But the vibe was done when B-Fab left. When B-Fab left, I tried to fight it. I tried to fight you on it. The vibe was just gone. You know,
Yeah.
like just looking at them, they had nothing else. And I think if anything else, they should have been they had to be able to work as a cohesive unit. I feel like they weren't really. I don't know. They cut their legs off, but I feel like there was definitely reasons why they did that. This release seemed more. These releases seemed more like reason, like they had reasons to, regardless of what the budget cuts were. We'll probably never find them, but I mean,
Mhm.
of course, Top Dollar came out already and is talking about the release, saying that they were booked and they were unbooked, and he noticed that that's the same thing that happened to B Fab. He was mentioning a lot of stuff that I'm pretty sure he's not supposed to bring up because of non-disclosure agreements, talking about the video game and shit like that. I'm pretty sure he's not supposed to be talking about that. But then he said, "Oh, I've been disrespected too." And that's when I knew, when he said that tweet, that's when I knew there's some truth to what the dirt sheets are saying about him. When he had to
Mhm.
react to that, saying I was disrespected too, I was like, oh, so there's some truth going on. But there's something that lies in the middle about that. I think he's right, but I also think that what is being reported is probably right too.
Yeah, it seems like they did a lot, to be honest with you. And again, we're proponents of these three guys. We found them very talented, and I think they brought a vibe to NXT and could have done to the main roster that was incredibly different. With their gimmick, and it wasn't really given a chance to kind of get off its feet. But also, I also don't think it was that much of a show-stopping, show-stealing gimmick. To be honest with you, if you'd asked me between Legado del Fantasma and Hit Row of who would last the longest, I would have not said Legado del Fantasma, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Because with Hit Row, it just kind of feels like that there's talent within this talent, which is something you want out of a stable. You don't necessarily want it like there's a head and everyone else, once it breaks apart, everyone falls aside and does the terrible things. I think all four of them had something to bring to the table. And it just, it didn't work out. So I'm interested to see where they go. I think Isaiah Swerve Scott is going to be a great free agent for anyone who wants to pick him up. And I think that they should stop rapping.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? The rap thing was cool on NXT when it was in the big room. It kind of didn't work. I think I tweeted out, like, I was like, they need to cut the instrumental under them rapping. Whenever it was always like the instrumental under the rap, and then I mean, we got to talk, get the elephant in the room here. The raps weren't that good. Like they
I
just
mean, I've been saying that for a long ass time. Just
the
because I think, sorry, I think just the way they rapped in front of a crowd. There's a reason why John Cena did the call and response thing. There's a reason why he raps so slowly, each bar to bar. So all the words have kind of impact. It's a little bit now about the performance. I think they also wanted to prove to people in this entertainment capacity that they had actual bars, and they were trying to prove to people that yes, we actually do rap and we are great rappers, when that is not the end result that you people need to care about. People could give a shit of whether you're a good rapper or not. They want to be entertained. They
yeah.
want you to take them somewhere. They want you to think. I don't think anyone can quote any of their bars, to be honest with you. Um, but you know, I would, if I were them, if they want to continue with the gimmick, I don't know what they're gonna call it, some sort of thing about the gimmick. But yeah, I would stop the rapping if you're not gonna at least do it in a not performative, performance type of way that works the best with the crowd. I would just stop it altogether.
Well, it didn't make sense because they were supposed to be flashy, like flashy big time rappers, like future type rappers, right? And then they ended up rapping like backpackers. So like it automatically like the the dissonance was off. You know what I'm saying? Like you're dressing like you from here, but you rapping like you like it just didn't mix to me. And I will never forgive Ashanti for his outfits. I think that might have been the reason. It was the outfits.
It was terrible.
The outfits were awful. But again, he was another guy who had been on NXT for a while, you know, and had just got called up, and it would just really be a shame if they got lumped in with that. But that's usually how it kind of happens with shit like that, where it's like when you become a problem backstage, you got to go,
Yeah,
you know, and they
absolutely.
let them go. So, those are releases. Wish them best. I know people are going to be upset at our breakdown of them because I'm pretty sure every single podcast that people have been listening to have had hit row as avenging angels that just were perfect in every single way. But I definitely saw some holes in that gimmick, and I honestly, SmackDown happened, and I didn't even I honestly was like, yeah, it probably wasn't a fit. It just really wasn't a fit to me.
Yeah, yeah. And there's so limited time with that show and stuff like that. I don't know.
And it said the curry
So that
beef
was
line, man.
that was Wednesday. Um, Thursday on the MMA Hour, hosted by Ariel Hawani, it was a interview with Becky Lynch that a very, I would say, well, I watched that interview and I was like, damn, that's some good shit. Like good shit from an interview. And I don't say that about most because I think even like we try to do it, we balance and toe a line as well in terms of things like that. But like in terms of getting to what you need to know, oh yeah, this was it. Um, Ariel Hawani interviewed Becky Lynch on the MMA Hour, and she was very candid about her feud with Becky Lynch, and yeah, ends up spilling into Survivor Series. Justin, I want to ask you, how much of this interview do you think was a work, and how much do you think of it was a shoot?
Well, it was interesting, and I said this on our spaces on Sunday night that at the end of the day, real or fake, they got you to feel something, you know. And I think that the benefit of this is that they were able to work something that might have been a real altercation into something that was absolutely real. Do I believe? Like, here's the thing: if I say what I feel, people can say, "Well, no, it's because of no, you're wrong because of this on either side, right?" So it's like I feel like they definitely have a Sean Brett, but it's not to the level of Sean Brett. You know, I feel like there's a professionalism that comes with these two, but they are not necessarily homegirls anymore like they used to be. And that happens with friends, right, Meelz? Like Becky had a child. Charlotte is engaged. She's doing her own thing. You fall out. You're at different places in your life, and I think
Hmm.
that to me is the best story that there is. Where it's like we're in a violent industry. This is how former friends battle it out. So
Well,
I think it's
I think it's perceived, at least from Becky Lynch's point of view, that once she became to start getting popping, shit just went sideways.
yeah.
And I think it's from a business. There's so much in this industry that I guess believes, and you know what, I don't think you have to be this way, because I look at people like Bailey and stuff like that, and Bianca Belair, who's openly said, like, I've had my title shot, it's Liv's time to work, I'll be there hopefully again one day, but I'm happy for her anyway. I think there's an opportunity and space for everyone to eat, especially when you're so underutilized at the time. But it seemed like they both were in intersecting paths and believe that only one person can be on top, and that's kind of where the friction kind of comes in
Mm-hmm.
terms of and I don't know, we don't know the details of it. I don't know if it's something like, I don't want to do the job this way, or I'm not taking that move, or anything of the rather, but you can tell from that, I guess, that 2019 feud, something started there that has not ended there. And once again, like you said, families, relationships, other things have also come into play that has further drifted them apart. And now they are so, that relationship is so, I guess, fractured to the standpoint, um, that we were legitimately one. I mean, it's great promotion for the Survivor Series feud. I mean, Survivor Series match, but we were kind of wondering, like, so how does this actually go on? They talked in candid about the moment on SmackDown with the championship belts that was supposed to happen that didn't go on, and Becky confirmed, like, yes, she did yell and stuff like that, but I had to go do a dark match and all things of the rather. Um, she talked about Ric Flair's comments. Ric Flair.
Him up. And Ric Flair is, to me, he's that guy's like done. Like there's a way to go out, and he just and I think we're seeing like the real him now. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
we're seeing like really what it's like when he burns out, and he's doing it publicly now. And I think that her comments on Rick were good because it's like, what does Rick want? He wants me to respond, and then what? This motherfucker's gonna go to AEW and then say I got the man riled up. I'm the real man. He's gonna then he's what he's gonna do? Oh, I want my title belts back, WWE. Ain't nobody listen to this nigga no more. Get out of here. Listen to this
Like,
nigga, man.
yeah, I thought, you know what, overall though, I thought it was a great interview. I thought it was very intense at times, very candid at times, and I was just like, damn, this is some good shit. Like, I love to see that's why probably the best documentary that WWE have ever done, in my opinion, was that Brett and Sean thing, because they took a very real life situation and kind of dissected it, and not only approached it from a wrestling standpoint, but also a business standpoint, also a politics standpoint, and also from a personal social level of, like, how do we build from here? How do we go from here? How do these emotions, real life emotions, come into play? I think those make for the kind of the best stories. Um, and we would see from that interview a lot of things kind of spin off towards Survivor Series, which I think we
Yeah,
should probably get to pretty soon.
yeah. I thought that they did a lot of press and definitely felt like the biggest deal in the on the whole show. But
Hmm.
I thought it definitely delivered when you put it in the context of a Survivor Series match. It had the most heat of any match that
Yeah,
night. But was that No Holds Barred? Was that it?
that's the whole bar, baby.
All right,
Unless
so
something else pops up. Let me look. Well, that's it for now. If something else pops up, I don't know what to say.
yeah, we're gonna talk about a crazy weekend in WWE and pro wrestling after the break, and we're gonna talk about a lot of eggs too. So stay tuned on the A Show.
Sir? As far as the no deal tonight is concerned, somebody stole my egg.
Stole your egg.
Yeah. Someone stole my $100 million egg. Call the cops. Get out of your chair and go call the
Please,
cops.
thank you. Did you say $100 million?
I know. It was had to be that guard. It was outside my door. No, wait a minute. Maybe it was one of those slimy members of the production crew. Could be maybe one of the superstars. No. Well, we are here in Brooklyn.
Boss, I hate to say this, but it is possible that it was one of our superstars.
Yeah. It's not just possible, it's probable. You go interview each and every one of them. Okay. Find my egg. 100. Oh my God. Rock is going to be so upset.
The Rock is going to be so upset.
can I say something? I just found an article. Shout out to dailysmart.com. Oh my God. So, quick thing. Eric Bischoff calls recent WWE releases a market correction.
Okay.
He says he talks about John Morrison's release, but then he says the rest of the talent. Here's my impression from the outside, the lines, and being on the outside looking in. I think this is just a market correction. I think WWE, for whatever reason, has stacked a lot of talent, and I'm talking about developmental talent. These not all big names, well-established characters or personalities in the WWE. A lot of these people I've never heard before, only because they haven't been prominent on Raw or SmackDown. I think for whatever reason, the strategy over the last 5 or 6 years with NXT is being reevaluated, and as a result, there's a lot of talent that's looking for work today. That's just a market correction. And then he says regarding Tony Khan's comments about wrestlers aren't signing a real contract in WWE, which is, I was like, come on, bro.
That's like, listen, that is ridiculous. I think he needs to like stop saying shit like that. That's crazy. Like, that is crazy.
He says in response to that, he says, here's the difference though. I understand what Tony is saying and I applaud him for caring about his talent as he does. How could that be a negative thing? It's not. But here's the reality again. WWE is a publicly held company. AEW is not. WWE has a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders to make decisions and manage their business in a way that would benefit the shareholders. Would Vince McMahon personally prefer not to have released his talent? I'm not saying he does or he doesn't, but he has no choice. Even if he did, he has no choice. He has to manage his budget and his business in a way that is most beneficiary to his shareholders. Tony Khan has to manage his business in a way that most suits himself. There is a big difference between the two, and I think criticizing WWE for exercising fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, whether or not you want to believe it's setting them up for a potential sale, take that aspect out of it. To criticize WWE for managing their budget in a way that they've been entrusted by their shareholders, by law have to manage said budget in a way that is beneficiary to their shareholders. To criticize WWE for that is understandable, but not the whole story. It is easy, especially only because there's emotional situations for the talents that are being released. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I think if you take the emotions out of it, you start to see, and it's like, I don't know why people expect that emotional. You know what I'm saying? I don't see why wrestling garners that type of emotional love that NBA, NFL, MLB doesn't, right? Where it's like when those people get cut, you don't really, it's just part of the game. You know what I mean? And they might get mad about it, and they have gotten mad about it. But it's never like, you know, what I saw last week where it was like people canceling the network over Hit Row. All right, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, Roman's still there. I'm still going to watch as long as that motherfucker's still there. Like, here's what I think, Meelz.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, and I think I even said this to you, and I think Eric Bischoff really summed it up better than I could, but I think that it also, there's another aspect to it. WWE has seen over the past 4 to 5 months, because remember, there was a bunch of talent they were sitting on before Punk debut, right?
Right.
Then them first ratings came out. They were still sitting. And then them next ratings came out. And it was like, oh, that's all he's going to do? So they let some people go. Then Brian came, and there were still a bunch of people there. Still a bunch of indie darlings there. Brian came. That damn New York show happened. It didn't really do nothing. Then the next rating happened. They said, oh, that's what it's going to do? All right, never mind. Give him some more. I feel like they reacted and saying like they were stockpiling, obviously, and even Brian said it. They were stockpiling because of AEW, and then when they saw AEW wasn't really threatening them in any type of way, they said, "Oh, okay, we can stick with what we got." Every single time they see like $500K for Rampage and $900 for Dynamite, they say, "Oh, and you had all of them. You had Cole on there too." They said we was over after Cole left. All right, bet we doing good. Let him go.
I think it's more. I think the releases, I guess, stem from more. I think it's, yeah. People say budgetary purposes. People, whether people want to believe it or not. I think personally, the response to it itself lends itself from people to truly believe that the wrestling business is more about the wrestling than the business. And if you do believe that, I mean, there is a company for you, which is AEW.
Yeah.
Um, However, WWE, like Eric Bishop says, operates as a business. And like you said, I can't fathom how people, like, I'm mad after, of course, I'm mad after like the first 6 hours or so. But I understand at the end of the day that people got to do what they got to do nonetheless. And I understood a long time ago. I swear, when I went to WrestleMania 35 in New York and went to Access and saw all these giant superstars on these banners and things, and I was just like, and we had even this discussion about Twitch and stuff like that and all these other things. I was like, yo, I bet these people don't even know that they're like taking pictures and wearing all these random shits that they don't even know about because they're just photoshopped on. And realizing that these people to WWE are realistically, yes, they're family, but realistically they're entities
Mm-hmm.
and their
They're
talent
IP.
and their,
They're IP. They're
yeah,
IP.
they're actors and stuff like that. And
It's,
realistically, like, you can go ahead.
when you watch the Batman in March, that's not Robert Pattinson. He's playing an IP. He is a part of the IP that they own, that Warner and DC owns. So if he's let go, then it still keeps going. That's how this type of shit works. When Hit Row leaves, there is another one coming right after them. You know what I mean? There was a comment. There was something that you said a couple months ago, where you said, North American title is the Blackest Championship, right? And then somebody had xed off all the black talent that had been gone since they held it. And it's like, that's not really the point. Business wise, the point is they held that IP championship. It garnered them what they needed. And when they had to, like Bischoff said, correct the market, they did it in a way. They weren't targeting, they're not targeting people, y'all. Like, this isn't like a target. Like, do people think that they're literally looking across the roster and saying, I don't like you, you got to go? That's not really what's happening here. That's not really what happens in any job. I've been fired a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I've been fired from a lot of places. Some for reasons where they actually didn't like me, but some for reasons where they were just going in a different direction.
Sidebar to that comment about the Xing out thing. I think that's so whack, by the way. And I think it was a terrible. And I think, hold on for a second.
Yeah, I thought it was awful. I think that it didn't I don't think that it properly kind of even matched up to what you were saying. Like, I don't think that the point was that black people keep getting let go, because black people get let go all the time. Isaiah Swerve Scott was not let go because he was black.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
That was the weirdest part of that whole thing, was that it wasn't because they were all black. What are you talking about? It was
yeah,
it was literally because of a listen. I don't think the budget cut thing is any right of any more right of a explanation than anything else. But him being black is not a reason why he was let go. I'm just here to tell you, it's crazy. I think that again, like, people look at these releases, you have to look at
also,
them. They take the emotion out of that shit.
yeah. Also, if you're using the fact that like these people have been released to have your like wind up slam dunk, I think you didn't really give a fuck about them about their situation currently.
And they try and dunk on you. And my issue was, it was like, you don't do anything to anybody. And I know these people listen. So like, there was, and I'm glad, Meelz, you didn't say anything. You told me not to say anything. I was like, I'll stay out of it. And I'm like, here's the thing. I know they listen. I know y'all listen or whatever. Like, that was whack. There was no reason. There was no reason for that. Like, because literally a month ago, all you motherfuckers were saying we all need to stick together, and then you still doing that shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that energy. It's whack. It's cowardly.
Very. Survivor Series?
Survivor Series. It was fine. It was fine.
It was, I'll be honest with you. After a while, I didn't get up from my chair. I mean, part of that because I had spent 3 days at an anime convention. but including earlier that day. Um, but then also, I felt like it was a bookended show. I
Yeah.
felt like the opening contest was really good, and the main event was very good, albeit very late. And I thought everything in else in between was passable. So nothing was terrible, but I think the overall behavior of the show, there weren't many peaks, but there weren't many valleys either. It was
Yeah.
just kind of a very fine show, which I felt like was going to happen because Survivor Series notoriously
It's
has
a
been
fine.
an eye. Yeah. They live and die by like it's really who's the champion and who's not and stuff like that. For instance, like even the pre-show match, which I felt bad for them being the pre-show match. Damian Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I felt bad because when you look back at that pay-per-view, I was telling Carlos, who was sitting next to me, I was like, you're never gonna see this match ever again.
Right.
And Damian Priest is from New York, we're in New York, et cetera, like that. But I was like, you're never gonna see this match again. So they went out and they did their thing, but yeah, it wasn't really and they gave SmackDown a win, kinda. But then when you look at the main show, it's like SmackDown got shut out again.
My issue was that you put a lot of people they have effectively whittled down the roster to a point where you have a lot of people that you don't want to beat anymore. Like you
Yeah,
don't want to beat Nakamura because he loses a lot on his own show. You don't want to beat Priest because he's in the middle of a different push and he's about to face off against a new challenger. You don't want to beat Roman. You can beat E. You can beat E because he realistically could lose that belt anytime, and I think that's their thought there, which is fine. Roman has to beat them. Roman always wins decisively. That's who Roman is. Charlotte loses, but not to a
really.
but not to a finish. But she still loses. She gets outsmarted in a clearer term. And then for the rest of the show, you have I think the Usos were the only guys that were expendable enough to take a loss at that point.
Yeah,
And then everyone else took like little BS count out losses or whatever.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's generally the feeling of the show for me. I thought the Brooklyn crowd was a little bit antsy. Um, I think it was just to be honest with you, I've been to Barclays. It's not the best, but I think that was a particularly bad crowd both nights.
That was a
Like
bad crowd, bro.
it was a very bad crowd. And I think part of it was, I can't explain what the hell Raw was, but I think part of it was also that lull during the show where people wanted things to happen and then they didn't happen. And then they took it out on the women's match, which is whack as hell. I would have rather them take it out on the Usos and RK Bro than take it out on the women's match. But, because I think they were working hard at that. But yeah, I mean, passable show.
It
Barely.
was fun.
I didn't
It was
I
fun.
didn't like the men's Survivor Series match that great, that well. Seth wins. He pins who does he eliminate last?
Seth eliminated the Hardy.
Yeah. Whew. What? Jeff Hardy was over like Rover.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Yeah.
And I literally during the women's Survivor Series match, when I saw 4-1 against Bianca Belair, I said to Carlos, I wonder how SmackDown's gonna fuck this up.
Over with. And they fucked it up in the most convoluted way ever, which is just so
OD.
it was just so convoluted. Okay, so you have Sasha break the 10 count 3 times, but still count her out.
Yeah. I was like, wait, her whole body, half her body's in the damn ring. Hold up. I was like, what? What is going on here? And then if you really want to, I'm watching from the crowd and I legitimately think Natalya has a headset on. Like she has something in her ear that like Tyson Kidd is like whispering, and then we're doing this and then we're doing that. Make sure everybody's clear on it because she was there when they were doing the little Bianca versus Sasha moment that lasted probably for like 5 minutes.
Best part of the match.
Yeah. Tony, Shotzi, and Natalya are just chilling by the steps, like whispering to each other for the entire time of like what to do. Also, sidebar, Shotzi, Need some more work.
Well, I said it. I said it a couple weeks ago. I get afraid when she like walks. Like
Yeah,
I'm
she needs more
scared.
work.
Not a bad thing. Not a bad
Right.
thing. But I feel like they're putting her in a position to succeed with someone that can help her succeed. I'm hoping, I know Sasha can rise to the occasion. No, she can. I think Shotzi needs to kind of find her role. It wouldn't be the thing about the Shotzi thing is that like there's so many submission specialists on the roster that I think she should be one, but she has Shayna on the same damn roster, so she can't be one. So she has to kind of like be a different type of heel. And the thing with heels is that you don't see balls to the wall heels like that, unless it's like ECW or GCW or some shit like that, where it's like the heels are doing everything they can, destroying their bodies to destroy you. There just isn't heels like that. I wish they would let her do that, but that's just not how they write the heels. So she has to be like a slow, plodding headlock person, and that's just not who she is. She needs to be able to kind of be who she is as a face too, kinda, which is weird. She's in a
I
weird
thought
position.
I thought the pace in that match was like a little bit too fast for her. Like,
Yes.
That's what I thought. I was like, whoa, she's got to learn to keep up. Like, because Sasha's going to be doing all types of top rope shit. She's got a very athletic roster in front of her, and she needs to be able to keep up, to be honest with you. Pizza Hut was fine. I didn't get any pizza flu. I didn't like how those pizzas flew, though. I was like, I don't know if pizza's supposed to fly like that.
It was a different type of. Hey, listen, I'm a fan of Pizza Hut. Let me just be clear. I'm a fan of Street Profits. I'm a fan of Pizza Hut. But when they had Otis eat that shit, I was like, boy, this boy about to have a carotid artery, some type of artery issue. Don't make that boy eat that and then do spots.
Why he ate it like that? Yo, this nigga's such a weirdo.
All right, here you go. Here we go.
He's such a weird. I was like, why he's like eating it like he's looking at it. He's like he's eating it like it's a fucking Toys R Us pizza.
Bro, he destroyed. He destroyed that pizza, bro. It looked good as hell. I ain't gonna lie, it looked good as hell.
Oh my god, I love that. I love that thing. Yeah,
but yeah, like the women's thing with it got hijacked. But I mean, Bianca fucking Belair, we called it. When she's on and we thought it was gonna be Drew and Bianca, but apparently she's getting pushed more than Drew.
Listen, I didn't even like what they did to Drew. When they did that, when they canceled out Drew and Lashley, I was like, oh, y'all whack.
You can't have either of them. That's why I was like, why the fuck did you even put? You could have kept Dominic in there if that was gonna be the
like, I was like, that was so whack.
You could have definitely kept Dominic and Ray in the match if you were going to do that to those two. Like they could have definitely took a pinfall and did a couple of spots and no one would have batted an eye. Letting Drew and Bobby go like that was just like maybe one, like maybe Drew could go that way, not both at the same time.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is right. They've got the people on the roster left all can't like take pins at this point, so it's bad. Who's
going to take pins? Like you got Finn taking pins. But the thing alternately with Finn is that you could easily slot him in any type of championship position at this point at any time. So you don't really want him losing definitively either. That's why you had what happened to him on Raw happen, because they don't want to beat Finn either.
Insane.
You don't want to beat Seth. You don't want to beat Finn. You don't want to beat KO, which is weird because he's about to leave. But it's like you don't want to I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing.
Can we talk about this egg?
Oh, can we? I mean, to talk about the egg, it means we have to talk about fans and broken promises, and I put quotes over that. Fans and broken promises.
Let's give people a little lesson on it. I don't like to even say it like that, but realistically, like we know what you're like. Here's the thing: you're smart wrestling fans. You understand everything over the sun about medical history, legalese, all types of other shit, and all types of other stuff. But when it comes to obviously some sort of marketing venture between WWE and something else, suddenly no one can handle what's going on anymore, and it's full of shit.
Listen, they did the same thing with Army of the Dead last summer. They reacted the exact same way.
And I forgot what water company they did it to, where they had 25 minutes of The Miz running after New Day getting sprayed with water.
Yeah. You see what it is? Nick Khan has literally told you what they're doing. and what they're planning on doing this year and for the years to come, and you still get mad. Okay, so the idea here, November
Rock
1st,
25.
they announced Rock 25. Someone on Twitter said Rock showing up.
You gotta it's Survivor Series.
WWE never said it. The Rock never said it. Netflix never said it. Nick Khan never said it. No one in any company ever said he was showing up. They said, we're going to celebrate The Rock all month. We're going to celebrate him. We're going to talk about his 25th anniversary in the ring. He got a new movie coming out. Now, I was privy to the fact that Netflix would be sponsoring Survivor Series a couple of months ago. I thought that's a huge get for them, because I don't think Netflix does promotional stuff for any type of sports, any type of combats, nothing. They never do, right? Like, I've never seen it before. So WWE has opened the door on a Netflix $7 partnership, which they do stuff with $7 all the time whenever he has movies coming out. Like Fast, they did something for the Fast movie he was in, all of that shit. Never with Netflix, who they have a relationship with, and they've always done stuff with Netflix. So this is a lesson in earned versus owned media. So with earned media, this is promotion with another company where they kind of foot the bill for all types of things that you might want to do in your show, including getting that prop. Owned media is, let's say Netflix is saying, we have a movie that is exclusively on our platform with The Rock. Period. What people don't know is that Netflix's audience, the crossover might not be wrestling fans. Surprisingly, this might surprise you, Meelz. There might be a lot of people that don't know The Rock, but only know Dwayne Johnson. That might shock you, but Netflix took account of that, and they said, where can we go? Who can we partner with that has early footage of Dwayne Johnson showing what he does, showing why he's such an action movie badass and why they need to watch Red Notice? They go to the company that owns all of the footage of him, and it just so happens that it's his 25th anniversary ever stepping foot into a WWE ring. So they did The Rock 25, which was owned media. WWE owned that, and they used that to get eyes on their product for the month by using The Rock. Easy. This is a marketing partnership where Netflix was footing the bill essentially for a bunch of the skits that you saw over some Survivor Series and a bunch of the video packages and time and effort put into those things. It's easy. Listen, I don't like to talk shit about things that I do. Okay. I helped launch a Netflix show this month.
Go you.
It's one of the best reviewed Netflix
You go,
shows.
Glenn Coco.
It's one of the best. Listen, so I could see what was going on. Okay. We could see what was going on, but I also have to commend WWE for not actually, for sitting on their sword and not actually saying, for just giving little nudges. Those nudges, they're not a promise. They just mean that people are, they're just kind of putting out Rock tidbits for you. They never promised you he'd be there.
Like, not even once. And usually the thing with The Rock is if he's going to be there, he definitely lets you know on Twitter that he will be there, because he wants the most eyes on him as possible. The Rock doesn't do shit for
no
hopefully people to show up. He doesn't do that anymore.
No, he doesn't have to. You're going to show up when he says so. So when I see people say, well, someone came out and said, well, I knew in September he wasn't coming. Why didn't you report that? Why the fuck didn't you just say that so people could stop saying he was going to be there? We knew he wasn't going to be there. They knew he wasn't going to be there since September. And they went through, and you know what they probably did, Meelz? They came up with another plan, which was probably Rock 25, what they did on Peacock. That was another thing. Like, WWE as an entity is such a pool of content for partners to go to because they have so much. Arnold Schwarzenegger's been there. The Rock has been there. Stone Cold has been there. They've had countless other people on their stuff, and they own it. They own it, Meelz. So they don't actually have to pay out anymore. They give you a certain amount, and WWE says, we'll do the rest. And that's what they did. There was no promise here that he was going to be there. So when you say it felt like it was a surprise party for someone who didn't show up. No, it didn't. It felt like it was a special Rock episode. This felt more like a partnership than the Undertaker shit did last year. The Undertaker shit never even felt like it was his last time showing up last year until like that one segment he had. This felt like from start to finish There was
Where they had Undertaker doing TikToks and cameos and appearing on places and doing all the other random shit. Hot ones.
That felt less organic than this did. This felt like it was a special Rock episode of the Survivor Series. That's it. You knew the bag was heavy when Vince McMahon showed up. He don't ever show up.
You don't ever show up.
And he showed up for 2 days. This partnership literally went to Monday and probably ended on Monday, and they went to it. Like, listen, y'all gotta think. Y'all gotta think. Think. I know you're disappointed, but you gotta think, bro. Just think.
And then also accept. Just like accept the idea that this was a marketing thing, and that even if The Rock doesn't show up, it doesn't mean that WWE is trying to like fool you or get one over you or anything of the rather. These are partnerships. It is no different than WWE Superstars coming at Rolling Loud, which we're all excited for. It is no business. It is no different than Xavier Woods spraying The Miz with whatever water that doesn't sponsor this podcast, so I won't say it. That should sponsor this podcast. It's no different than any of the other things that they've been doing over the last number of years. We see where the direction is going. Nick Khan told us where it was going.
Yeah.
I get that you guys don't like it. Go watch Ghostbusters on the other show.
Yeah. and they had to pay for that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. AEW as a non-publicly traded company, they don't have enough owned media. So like what happens is they don't have enough people that work for them, and they don't have the cachet in the history for them to have their own media with other celebrities and stuff like that. So when they want to do partnerships, even with people within their own entity, which was like the Space Jam thing, they had to pay out to use the licensing for that. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Netflix licensed out that stuff to them as part of their marketing package. That's the difference between these two companies right now. AEW will get there one day when they have a big video library and Shaq shows up 3 more times and Mike Tyson and shit like that. They'll have that.
Snoop Dogg and all other types of shit. Yeah.
They'll have it. But right now they don't, so they have to resort to their deal just isn't the way WWE's is set up right now. And that's not a bad thing. And a lot of people don't have it like that. But like that's the difference between those two. That's why the Netflix thing, y'all should be looking at it as pro wrestling is getting eyes on it like that again. Because it could cause Netflix to say, we want to bring, someone else into the fold. We want to bring a, whatever else company into the fold. I don't know. But it's like, that's how they did this partnership. It's a big deal to have Netflix partnering with WWE in that capacity where they're actually promoting the pay-per-views now. That's almost as big as like or probably bigger than having those insurance companies that you see on the commercials every wrestling show. Like that's a huge deal.
I like the egg thing. All the way up until Austin Theory was named the number 1 contender. Then I probably would have walked out of Barclays with Nell and Rob.
Yeah. The thing with Austin was that like I would have liked to, and I know people don't like this because
it made sense to me. It made sense. Like it made perfect sense, but I just didn't like that. I would have preferred Biggie versus anyone else.
And then he had like a really like crappy match with him where I don't think it did any guy any favors.
Yeah, it didn't. I think they're trying to put Austin Theory within this class, or at least show you that he belongs in this class. But I would take the more organic approach. And I think he still hasn't hit like a peak. Like, that I used to feel the same way about LA Knight until he had that program with Cameron Grimes. And that moment where he beats the shit out of Ted DiBiase. I think that's the moment that kind of turned him from being corny, goofy character into, oh, I hate this guy. And I think he still hasn't had that moment yet. He's just been kind of obnoxious. So, yeah, I mean, well, I don't really want to talk about Raw.
I don't either. I thought it was skippable this week. I mean, obviously we watched it, but like it was skippable.
Yeah. To the guy that, to any fans thinking about jumping over a barricade and tackling a WWE superstar, don't. Just don't. Like, just don't in general.
And Chavo Guerrero, eat a dick.
Yeah. There you go.
Eat a dick, Chavo. Like, come on. You mean to tell me that you think that Seth is not tough because he was blindsided by a fan?
All 5'8" of you really thought that? Like,
yeah, from behind, like shut the fuck up. Like Seth didn't even know this guy was gonna be there. You talking about people are tough and shit like that. Like Bret Hart got. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like if a nigga's fast enough, he's gonna get you. He's gonna be able to tackle you. Seth wasn't even expecting anybody. You know what I mean? Like, and shout out to the cameraman that noticed that was wrong and cut out immediately and cut to the ring immediately. Like that was a scary, more than anything. That's scary, bro. Like that's a
yeah,
scary situation
I
for Seth.
agree.
We don't know what that fan had. We don't know what could have happened to Seth. You know, that's just a scary situation. And then another fan at the end of the night, did you see this? They had threatened Montez, and everyone in the roster was about to beat his ass.
He was talking so much shit. So apparently, gotta give a shout out to Senvidius. Shout out to you for the A
Yes.
show sign. Our
Yes.
first sign ever at a live show.
Hopefully not the last. If y'all go to a wrestling show and you're within camera shot, your camera side, you bring a sign, we're gonna think of something really special. We're gonna shout you out, but we're also gonna think of something really special. So take a sign in the wrestling show. Let us see it. Send us a picture.
Yeah, the A show. Apparently, they let you keep our sign and not any of the others, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, people get a little antsy. People get a little thing, and then Montez said like, "Yo, come say it to my face." So he walks down and says it to their face, and then he gets escorted out because he's a punk and you little bitch. So I don't know. Brooklyn was I didn't like it. I'm sorry. I love Brooklyn, but y'all were just doing the most.
Brooklyn's different. And shout out to Hot Pink Sheets. He said on the spaces, like, that's Brooklyn. Like there's a difference between Brooklyn and the rest of New York. So he was saying that was just that's because he was like, they were good at MSG, and he had a point. Like MSG was fine. MSG was hot. And there was
MSG, you can't do that shit. That's the thing though. MSG, I don't want to say is the way difference between where Barclays and MSG is run, but MSG, you can't get away with that stuff. And then there's I think also a lot more families at MSG.
Yeah.
Barclays end up being just very obnoxious people who can afford tickets. It's really the difference between Knicks and Nets. Like, it's even going to there. Like, Barclays and MSG is just, WWE don't even promote them the same. You know? It's just, I don't know.
Because one is Barclays and one is the mecca of bad basketball.
I love me taking 20 minutes to get to Barclays, so it'll always be the GOAT for me.
Oh God. Well, was that it? Was that it for the week?
Yeah, that's it. I don't really want to talk about SmackDown. Don't really want to talk about Raw. Nothing really happened. I'm sure there's there's plenty of stuff. We got stuff coming up soon on this network, especially for the month of December. So make sure you guys subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/the A Show RNC. Become a patron. You know, as we get closer and closer to this thing where you guys want us to eat a chip and completely demolish ourselves, please do that. Please follow us at the A Show RNC on Twitter. And yeah, have a great Thanksgiving. How about that? Eat well.
Yeah.
Listen to us.
We're in the final stretch of the year. We always say this. Our year-end episodes always do super well for us because they love to hear our thoughts. So obviously we're coming up with what we're going to do this year as well. Might have a special Patreon component, but we got a lot of stuff coming up in December. Obviously, viewers' choice of spot callers, but you also have the November spot callers coming only on Patreon. It's going to be ROH Supercard of Honor 12, I believe. Just talking about some of the people, just kind of eulogizing ROH, but also talking about some of the people that were on ROH but in WWE but are not in WWE anymore. So there's a lot of people on that show that are
Double
there.
Jeopardy released. Just can't keep a job, apparently. Is that what you're saying?
But we're gonna go through all of that stuff. We're also gonna have watch-alongs. We're gonna have a lot of stuff coming up in December. So just subscribe to the Patreon. Give it to somebody as a gift. It's a great gift. We got a lot of content for people there. You also get this show early, which as soon as it's done, it's gonna be right out on the Patreon. So as always, thank you all for listening to the A Show. Please have a safe and loving, and blessed and fulfilling Thanksgiving holiday. We'll see you next week on the A Show. Peace.